Thank you for joining us at Books as Bad as Twilight podcast. This podcast will discuss books that may or may not be as bad as the popular series Twilight. As can be expected, we will discuss the books in detail, so spoiler alert.
We highly suggest you read the book beforehand or read along with us. You can use the link in our show notes to purchase the current book we're reading. Also in our show notes are links to the Books as Bad as Twilight website and all of our social media pages. Quick shout out to our image designer, Katie Hartung. Her website is listed in our show notes at khartgraphics.com. KHART graphics.com.
Music at the beginning of the show provided by Gabe Miller Music. You can find him on YouTube, SoundCloud, and his website, GabeMillerMusic.com.
It's get sky blue all. Wait, what? How's it go? Inky Binky Bonky. Mother had a donkey. Donkey died. Daddy cried. Inky Binky Bonky.
Oh my goodness.
Don't you remember that?
I don't even know what
That's
that is.
That's how you pick people. Like, it's get sky blue all out except you. You never played like
no. What? I mean, I know eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go.
I don't know.
My mother said to pick the very best one, and that is U-Y-O-U.
Oh, Y-O-U.
That's what we say.
Well, we would
red,
say
white,
red,
blue.
white, and blue. That is you. We'd say, and then if we were feeling fancy, we'd keep going, and we'd do like the spit, spit, spit. You are not it.
What about bubblegum? Bubblegum in a dish.
I don't know that one either.
What about the old Barney song?
I love you.
No. You kill Barney. I forget how it goes though.
You kill Barney?
Yeah.
What?
You don't say.
I mean, my God. If there's any way to start a show.
I mean, we just killed my dad's donkey and Mommy cried. Inky Binky Bonky, Daddy had a donkey.
Oh, yeah, okay. Right. Some of those things can be really vulgar. Like, do you know the song, what's it called? Shoot. What is it called? I forget.
Around the Rosie?
No. Little Jack Horner, maybe, or something. It's about like I forget what it's called, but it was on a video I was watching. It's about like a slave, but it's about like how a slave was mistreated by his master. And like it's like a kid's song, and it's used in like a lot of kids tapes. I wonder. Jimmy Crack Corn. That's what it is.
Oh, Jimmy Crack Corn and I Don't Care.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. That's what it is.
Well, a lot of those songs are super racist.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah. That's a fun way to start.
Yeah,
too.
really?
Yeah, I like it.
Oppression.
Yeah. Oppression, yeah.
Something to laugh about.
Yeah, oppression. Oh, well, our main character, Belle, is oppressed in this book. Is it quite the same? Well, not really, because she likes doing her chores, right? Remember when the book starts, she's cleaning the library?
Yeah, but I don't think she likes the library. I don't think she necessarily enjoys the cleaning.
No, but she's so excited. It makes me want to...
She's excited for the books. She's what is the... Bibliophile?
Bibliophile?
She's a bibliophile.
I mean, me too.
You're going to know this better than I will, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you're a bibliophile, I'd say. You read.
I read. Doesn't mean I read well.
That's okay. You don't have to read well to be a bibliophile. As evidenced by, all the people who read. Oh my gosh, that was so mean of me. I'm sorry. I just feel like I can't. Okay, I'm just going to stop talking. All right.
Fine. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, let's introduce ourselves. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Danielle.
And I'm Brittany.
And this is the Books as Bad as Twilight podcast, where we read books that we believe, in the beginning, are as bad as Twilight. We're going to read them, try to figure out if they really are as bad as Twilight.
Can you hear my typing?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay. I'm just looking up the...
You're going to hear my notebook. I wrote my notes down.
Oh.
Because
You're old-fashioned.
I'm old-fashioned.
Look at you.
Look
You're
at these notes. Yes. This is just the prologue. No, but that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but don't worry. Like chapter 1, chapter 2, it gets better. Yeah, don't worry. I wish we had a camera for that.
let me tell you everything about this prologue.
Oh yeah.
Might as well just read the prologue.
I know, right?
I mean, it's the same length.
Is it though? Yeah, it's a really long note. I was aware of that as I was taking notes, and I was like, you know what? I think I just need to take a step back right now.
Can we talk about how the first chapter is 24 sentences long?
Oh yeah,
I counted it.
It's disgusting.
I am upset.
Yeah, I think I actually wrote. Let me see. Short ass chapter easily could be could be paired with chapter 2. That's my literal notes.
I mean, like, same though.
Yeah. I guess we should probably say what book we're reading.
Well, might help.
So, to begin our first season of the show, we're going to be talking about a book called Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly. And this book is a spin-off, I guess you'd say, of the new Beauty and the Beast film, the live-action film that came out last year. And can I just say, like, I personally... What are you laughing at?
Go ahead.
I hated that movie. What were your thoughts?
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, well, this is what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Something about brain candy. I like Emma Watson.
I do too.
So it was enjoyable to me to just watch her in a different role versus Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I want to see like Circle and everything like that.
Me
I follow
too.
Rupert Grint pretty heavily in his movies.
I don't. I should though, but I don't. Yeah.
I like him a lot too. So I liked it as far as just watching a movie, and like I liked the animations of the Beast. I found him pretty, not realistic, but enjoyable, like from a visual, what's that word?
Visual standpoint?
Yeah,
Is that what it is? Yeah. Visually?
I was going to say the airy visual.
Is that a word?
I don't know.
Visual area.
My degree's in accounting, not English, so.
Mine's in English too, and you should see my grammar. It's awful.
Okay. I got a D in 4th grade spelling, so
yeah?
let's talk about that.
I don't remember what I got in 4th grade spelling. I just know I did really bad in vocab in middle school and high school. So, and I was an English major, so that doesn't.
The only word I remember from vocab class was fickle.
Fickle.
Yep.
That's a great word, though.
It's like, it reminds me of piccolo.
Oh my gosh, that's a great word too. You know what my favorite word is? Parched. I love that word. Yeah.
Because it's like parchment.
You would think, but no. I just like the word parched.
You just like being parched.
I like saying it. Every time I say it, people are like, "Oh, haha, you said parched," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's my favorite word." They have a
really bad sense of humor.
Yeah, I'm like, come on now, like that's my favorite word. Like, how dare you?
My favorite Spanish word is poco.
What does that mean again?
A little.
A little. Okay. Yeah, I took Spanish for a really long time.
Well, then you and I are going to be lost in this because there's French in this book.
There is, and it is confusing. And some things I know, but most I don't.
Yeah. I used Google Translate.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't translate anything.
Well, I'm curious how accurate her translations are. So if anyone knows if the French in the book is accurate to common French, let us know.
Definitely. That would help a lot, actually. I don't know how they would work with that in a book like this. Like,
what do you mean?
Like, using French words, obviously it's a French story, so they're trying to integrate that, and they do that in the original movie, but I think it doesn't really mesh well in this book, so I'm wondering how they could have done it any other way, and I don't think there's a right answer to that, honestly. Or not an answer I can come up with. Yeah,
well, we'll talk about this later, but sometimes while reading it, I forget, what's the French word for castle? She says it in like...
I don't know. I don't remember. I might have wrote it down, but...
It's in like chapter about 14.
Is it when she's like at that?
Yeah. And, but she says castle. She writes the English form of castle out. It's like, well, no, keep it consistent.
Right.
And that's one of my bigger issues with this book so far, is that there's no inconsistency.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or no
There
consistency.
There's no...
It is inconsistent.
Oh my God, words are hard.
This is our first episode, so please forgive us.
We'll cut that.
Yeah. No, and that's why we're going to leave it in. I have to blow my nose, so we're going to cut this.
That you're going to cut.
I have a problem. I always have to blow my nose, and I don't know why I didn't bring tissues down. I mean, I have these, but I wanted like a tissue box.
Go ahead, go get them.
No, we're good. I'll just work with these. We can work with what we have right now. Okay, so we won't get into, this is our like prologue episode, so we won't really be getting into chapters in this episode. We really just want to take this episode to introduce us a little bit, talk about what this podcast is going to be about, and talk about the book we're going to be reading. So I guess we first want to start out with maybe the title, talk about why it's called Books as Bad as Twilight.
Oh, you named it, honey. Go for it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, this podcast is actually almost like a response to a video that was posted on YouTube, which I don't know if I sent to you or not.
You did. I just didn't watch it yet.
Oh,
I'm going to be perfectly honest.
We're honest with each other on this show. That's why we love each other. So basically in the video, this video essayist, Lindsay Ellis, you might know her as the Nostalgia Chick on YouTube. She basically talked about how Stephenie Meyer, the author of Twilight, just gets a lot of hate for this book series when there's a ton of other book series that are praised and loved by people who hate Twilight yet do the same things that Twilight does. And how there's this huge hate on like teenage girl media, more so than a lot of other media.
So it's more so people are hating on the main subject versus the actual poorly written book.
Right, exactly. And they sort of jump on the bandwagon.
Okay.
And I don't know what you can say to this, but I know I jumped on the bandwagon, but I also read Twilight, and I know it was bad. I know you read it too.
I read the whole series through, and like I said, I felt like I needed to finish it because I started this journey, and I wanted to be there to the very end. And I felt like... the epilogue of Harry Potter, when it felt like JK was trying to just appease everyone. Yeah. That's what I felt this book was. I like the idea of having the war between werewolves and vampires, the whole lore of all of that. Yeah. And I don't mind the romance of it. It's just it wasn't well executed.
Well, and like you just said, it's not the romance of it that's the problem. I think a lot of people come to the romance genre and they just assume because it's romance that it's bad. And and I think I think Pride and Prejudice itself would be an example that the romance genre is not bad, if you could call that the romance genre.
I never read it. No, I hardly read any classics.
Really?
This is what I mean. I'm a novice when it comes to this stuff.
You would have you seen the movie?
Nope.
Okay.
I would read the zombie one.
Oh, no.
100% we'll read the zombie one.
We actually should. I didn't put that on our list, but yeah, that's a great idea. That'd be an awesome read. But yeah, there is this inherent judgment of romance, and I know I judge it too, because I think a lot of romance novels are not good. Maybe that's a bad generalization, but...
Well, they're not...
You shouldn't
assume... Do you mean the Harlequin kind of romance novels? Because they're not meant to be good. They're supposed to be brain candy.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be quick reads, get through it on a day on the beach when you're soaking up the sun and relaxing.
Maybe that's why I don't like them.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was going to say, even the mystery genre, the author, I've never read her, but I hate her, is Danielle Steele. I see her books everywhere.
So rude.
I'm sorry. I saw her when I was younger, and I'd be like, how the F is she writing all these books so quickly? I'm like, they can't be good.
Well, Stephen King is prolific.
Exactly. So that's why
not all of his stuff is great.
Right. I mean, I've read different seasons by him. Do you know the movie Stand By Me?
Yes.
That was based on a book he wrote. Did you know that? Okay, yeah. So
my dad was a huge Stephen King fan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Huge.
I haven't read much. I mean, I've only read that, and I think The Shawshank Redemption he also wrote. And there's 2 other short stories in his collection, but I didn't read them. So,
the Longest Walk.
is that?
That's one of his short stories, which I love.
Yeah, I saw that.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I also read It,
Okay.
which was great.
Yeah.
I read The Stand as well, and I hated The Stand. Absolutely hated The Stand.
Is The Stand one of the newer ones?
No, it's an older book, but
Okay.
they did come out with a TV series, I think, of
Is
it.
it an ABC or something?
Something like that.
Because I know, or am I thinking of like The Bubble, whatever it was
Oh,
called?
The Dome. There's The Dome, and
yeah.
there's also the Dark Tower series.
Yes.
There was what is that one at the hospital? If anyone remembers that one where the guy's stuck in a coma and it's all fantasy. I forget the name of that one. That was a pretty cool one too to watch the miniseries of.
Yeah.
I didn't read that book though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm very unfamiliar with Stephen King, but I know, like you said, he writes things pretty quickly, and for the most part, he's a pretty respected writer, and he's a good writer. He's good at what he does. So
anyways, what about Danielle Steele?
Well, I was just going to say, the only thing I was going to say is that for me, as somebody who's always aspired to be a writer, when I was younger, I would see her books everywhere, and I'd be like, they all look the same. They all look like generic. She writes them so quickly, and I would hate that because I would work so hard, and it would take me forever to write. Now, I'm at an age now where I'm like, okay, I don't really hate Danielle Steele.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, as an English major, I do expect more from the fiction I read.
Pick it up. You might really enjoy it. Like you said, you can't.
Maybe we'll read. Maybe don't judge
by its cover, Danielle.
But why?
Isn't
I
the
want
whole premise of this.
It feels so good to judge it by its cover.
Well, then what about all the romances with Fabio?
Oh God, yeah. Hey, you know, the point being, Brittany is right. We can't judge all books by their cover. And maybe we can read Danielle Steele at one point on this show to see if it's, see what our opinions are.
Well, that's the fun part between you and I. You're going to read it for the literary aspect of it. What tropes did they follow? Which ones did they like? What's the cliche of it? Me, I'm just reading it to see if it's a good story. I mean, I've never been one to analyze something. If I burn through the book really quickly, it's like, oh, okay, that was a good read for me. The characters are well developed, and I could sleep at night knowing that I have closure. But it seems to me, for you, with someone of your background and as much as you read, you're definitely going to have a different take on it than I am.
Yeah, and that's like you said, that's a good thing that we can. And just judging by like our past conversations, we can like have a back and forth, so that will be nice. And I will say, like, there is something to be said about like there being a good story. Not everybody can do that, like, and keep a reader engaged.
Yes.
So I think that, that's like something that we can't overlook. Like, yes, there could be literary qualities. Yes, we want the writing to be. We want it to be well written.
We don't want to. Oh God, what is it? 2-word sentences that this book has?
No, this book. We're gonna get into that in specifics, but this book does. It pulls a lot of punches.
Shredding. So dramatic.
It's actually very dramatic. You're so right. It's so dramatic about things that it's just. It's quite hilarious. I was reading it, I was like, oh, come on.
I'm sorry, I did not need that pause.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited, actually, because there's a part I'm thinking of in my head that I don't want to say right now, but it's really funny. But anyway, so, as we said, we both read Twilight, so we both know, like, it's not like we haven't read them, and we're just blindly going into this. We both read Twilight, so... this show is basically, like we said, going to judge other books and see how... I don't know if we're going to be comparing, but we're just going to see,
If it ties back. We each have our own criteria of what makes a good book. And that's basically when we get to the end of it, how we're going to judge whether or not these books are as good, better, or worse than Twilight.
Yeah, that's a good definition, yeah. And one thing I should say real quick, Brittany was just listing off a few of her favorite books. I'll list a few of mine as well. I just said Pride and Prejudice. We both have a love of Harry Potter.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, definitely love Harry Potter. I will say, having read, I won't go on a tangent, but having read Harry Potter 7 going on 8 times,
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to read 9 too, because I want to do a research thing. That's a long story, but anyway. I've sort of become a little more cynical about Harry Potter. I still love it though. I still love Harry Potter, but I won't go on and say it's the best thing in the world. What other books I love anything by Marilyn Robinson. I like the first Game of Thrones book. I like Game of Thrones.
I can't. Books like that are too much for me to read. Like characters, if it gets more, besides with the exception of Harry Potter, because their side characters are like in, out, gone.
Yeah.
If it has more than 10 characters, I'm out. My interest is gone.
Have you watched the show at all?
I have watched a show, and then it got too many people, and then
really?
I was out.
Oh, no.
Honest to God.
No. My book, I love it.
Nope. Peace.
Oh, no.
Oh,
okay.
The Hobbit. When I read The Hobbit,
yeah.
and the first scene when all the dwarves are coming in, and Dumbledore, not Dumbledore.
That's great.
They're the same person.
Essentially, yeah.
When Gandalf is like, this is so-and-so and so-and-so, I'm like, okay, no, peace.
You know, I will tell you, as I just said, I love a Game of Thrones. I actually think a Game of Thrones is better than Lord of the Rings. I've read The Fellowship of the Ring.
I've never heard that opinion before.
I don't like the Lord of the Rings. I mean, and that's maybe heresy to say. But I tried to read The Hobbit, and I think I got 30 pages in, and I gave up. I'm gonna try.
Is it when the dwarves start coming in?
Probably. I mean, I didn't like it at all. The Fellowship of the Ring.
You're a sizist.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm a small person. I'm 5'2". So, no, I read The Fellowship of the Ring. I had a hard time getting through it. Yeah. I made myself get, and it was sucky because I was on a trip, and like it was the only book I brought with me, and I wasn't enjoying it, and I was like, wow, I hate this. So
that was the worst part of your trip, is that you forced yourself to read. You know,
I was on a long train ride, 8 hours.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
so, where'd you go?
North Carolina.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
And
Not North Carolina,
well,
but the 8 hour.
Well, I was going to say, I love traveling and stuff. I love reading in the car and listening to my music, but I always bring more than one book with me now because
of that traumatic experience.
It was a traumatic experience, let me tell you.
I'm pulling up reviews for the book on Amazon.
Idea. Yeah, and let's actually talk about this book, Lost in a Book. Before you read the reviews, let me quickly read a synopsis. So this is the synopsis. Smart, bookish Belle, a captive in the Beast Castle, has become accustomed to her new home and has befriended its inhabitants. When she comes upon Nevermore, an enchanted book unlike anything else she has seen in the castle, Belle finds herself pulled into its pages and transported to a world of glamour and intrigue. The adventures Belle has always imagined, the dreams she was forced to give up when she became a prisoner, seem within reach. The charming and mysterious characters Belle meets within the pages of Nevermore offer her glamorous conversation, a life of dazzling Parisian, is that the word? Parisian? Luxury?
I don't know. I can't read.
That's okay. Neither can I. And even a reunion she never thought possible. I think I know what that will be, even though I haven't gotten there.
A reunion never thought possible.
Maybe her dad?
Maybe,
I don't know. Here Belle can have everything she has ever wished for. But what about her friends in the Beast Castle? What about them? Can Belle trust her new companions inside the pages of Nevermore? Is Nevermore's world even real? Belle must uncover the truth about the book before she loses herself in it forever. Wow.
Bum, bum, bum. Well, why would her dad be in Nevermore?
Maybe to, try to suck her in.
No, it's her mom.
Probably. I hate this book already.
It's gotta be her mom.
I hate this freaking book. Anyway, you're probably right.
So,
okay.
This is a 5-star review.
All right.
Off of Amazon. So
okay. Let's do it.
Imaginative characters, clever storytelling, and a pungent message.
What?
I can't put it down. I was lost too, and in love with every word of Lost in a Book. It is absolutely superb. A new classic, to be sure.
If you could see my face right now.
25 people found that helpful.
Oh.
Should I report it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Amazing.
But I want to get another 5-star up here.
All right.
This, again, is from Amazon.
Okay.
It was a great spin-off of Beauty and the Beast. It has a great storyline, and it fit perfectly into the original story.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, into the original
story. I mean, what do they, like, it's hard to say what they mean when they say that.
Probably the Disney
Yeah, they're
version.
probably saying the Disney. Yeah.
Which, if that,
well,
I have a huge, no, I'm not giving it away.
That's okay, no.
I was going to say, I have a huge gripe if that person thinks that's real, because
yeah,
there's nowhere in the original story for this to be put.
Right. Well, that's the problem, and that's actually one thing we're going to talk about more, if I can quickly comment before you continue.
Of course.
Beauty and the Beast is obviously one of the most popular Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when this movie was announced, I mean, I love Emma Watson as well, and I freaked out when she was going to be in the live action, because I've always envisioned her as Belle.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, not kidding. Like,
look at that.
Like, I've always wanted her to be Belle, and I remember there were rumors about another, like, there was a show that came out in the CW with the girl who was on Smallville.
Once?
No, you're thinking of the ABC one. It was actually called Beauty and the Beast. It didn't last long, and it was with that girl from Smallville.
I wonder why.
Yeah, it was bad. And I remember being like, I don't know if I can watch a movie if Emma Watson isn't Belle, because I just envisioned her as Belle.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's always this, like, it just has a huge following, and I forget where I was going with this. So, never mind.
Do you mean, like, how they kind of just tacked on this book?
Oh,
Is
yes.
that what you wanted to
Yes,
get to?
actually, thank you. Yeah, that is what I want. Basically, that what you were saying about how this fits into the narrative, the answer is it doesn't. And I think there is something to be said about what happened at the Beast Castle when we're not there, when she's captive. The Disney movie kind of makes it feel like it's a shorter time than it actually is, and so there is a lot you can add.
Yeah.
But I'm not kidding. Every time Disney tries to add something, it comes off like this book. It comes off, and we'll get into that, obviously, but it's just never good.
Not poorly thought out and not well executed.
Exactly. But continue with the reviews.
This is a 1-star off of Amazon.
Ooh, okay.
I was so excited about reading this book! Exclamation point. Starting off well. After a few chapters, I became bored and really didn't want to read anymore. Most of this book is exactly like the Disney movie. However, the author threw in an interesting story of death and love, sisters. And we'll get into that. That's in the prologue.
Yeah.
This was the only part of the story I found interesting, with the interactions between death and love, the very little part. I stopped this book about 200 pages, giving it a good chance. The entire book is very juvenile for a young adult read. Oh, I'm sorry, for even a young adult to read. Almost like a really long little kid's story. Also, the author uses words out of context.
Yes.
Context. Like, I steal the book into Beast's house. I steal. I can't even read that. I stuck it in, or I placed it there. Anything else would have made sense. I'm not the grammar police by any means. If I can pick up your grammar errors or words out of context, you have a problem. LOL. So
fair enough.
So that's a 1-star, and there's gonna be other 1-stars reviews. There's a 2-star that was like super duper long, talking about the cliches of this book, and it's just way too long to read.
Maybe we can link it or something.
Yeah, definitely. Just check out the Amazon reviews for it. It's so strange. It has a 4.4 on Amazon, and I don't understand where that's coming from in any way, shape, or form.
It is interesting, and I know we talked about this before, but like a lot of books like this that are published usually by Disney get better reviews than I think they deserve. But there's, I mean, as we know, there's a huge following for Disney and for stuff like this, and I think it does come from people who do love this story. I guess I won't judge them too harshly, but I don't think...
the reviewers?
Yeah, like, because it is the reviewers who are judging this, but if you look at the back of the book, I mean, the author herself, as we were talking about, I think she won the Prince Award or something.
She's won a lot.
Yeah, and it's kind of insane to me. I actually would be interested to read her other work because it's just fascinating to me that...
Let me pull up her thing and then you could read it up from there.
Okay.
It's going to take me 2 seconds. Go on,
though. But like I was saying, you see this a lot with books like this, where they're highly praised and they're not that good. And it's just like these books like this get a pass. And this is a young adult book, but that doesn't excuse it for being a bad book. Like, bad prose should not exist in children's lit just because children are not as experienced or not as smart as maybe an older person is. Like, they should have the same...
Let's go with not as versed.
As versed, yes. That's way better than how I just said it. As I said it, I'm thinking, like, that is not
Oh, right. You're dumb because you're 12.
You're so stupid. But
that's so funny.
Not as versed. Just pretend I said it that way. Yeah, they're not as versed, and because of that, it's assumed that they are not... that they don't deserve something that is, I guess, smarter or higher quality. Yeah. So this is the Jennifer Donnelly's bio. So it says, Jennifer Donnelly is an award-winning, best-selling author of books for young adults and adults, including the Waterfire Saga. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't, but I like sagas. I like series.
Yeah.
So
that heater is loud. I wonder if I could turn that off. I can hear it in my headphones.
We're in a basement.
Yeah. I feared this would happen. Her other young adult novels include These Shallow Graves, Revolution, and A Northern Light. Winner of Britain's prestigious Carnegie Medal. And then also won the...
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, for which book?
A Northern Light.
Okay.
And it says it also won the Los Angeles Times Book Prize for Young Adult Literature, and it got the Michael L. Prince honor, which is just insane to me. She also wrote A Humble Pie, which is a picture book, and then she has 2 adult novels, not 2, just her adult novels are The Tea Rose, The Winter Rose, and The Wild Rose, which makes me think...
I've heard that one.
Yeah, I've heard of them too, and I could be wrong, but like just the word rose makes me think that they might loosely like have to do with the lore of Beauty and the Beast. Like maybe they're like modern something.
Yeah, but we don't know.
Right, we don't. And so she lives in New York's Hudson Valley.
In case any of you wanted to stalk her and find out where she's at.
And she has a website, which we can link to in the show notes.
JenniferDonnelly.com.
There you go. So...
You could do the work, not us.
Yeah. Give us less work to do. Come on. So yeah, and we have a rating system for our books that we read. Because, as Brittany was saying, we aren't going into this...
You said that.
Did I say it? Okay.
Yeah, you're the one
losing
that
my
said
mind.
that we know.
Well, meaning like that we're not going to judge. We are judging, but at the same time, by the time we get to the end of oh my gosh. By the time.
Oh wow. Got that.
You caught it too. By the time we finish the book, there we go, that we're reading, we might really like it. And so we would give it what would be our rating of 5 stars, which is okay.
We anticipate all these books being poor.
Sorry. We do. Okay. 4 stars is brain candy. 3 stars is as bad as Twilight. It just means it's on par, right? And then 2 stars is lukewarm garbage. And then 1 star is hot garbage. I really like our rating system.
It's very professional.
Oh, it is. So professional. So yeah, we're gonna keep an open mind, but it also should be said that we kind of are going into this expecting these to be bad books, but you know, we will keep an open mind, like we promise.
Like number 5.
Exactly. Okay. Sorry, I'm like laughing way harder at that than I need to be.
Don't ever okay. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I quit this.
Yeah. We just started. All right.
Shut it down.
Yeah, exactly. No more podcasts. I mean, we only bought the website.
Thank you for all of our followers.
Yeah.
The two of us.
You and me. And maybe somebody
Why'd
else.
you point?
What?
I said you and me.
Oh,
You pointed to yourself.
Did I do the
first.
opposite? Me and you.
There you go.
I'm
That's
a
not grammatically
professional.
correct.
You know what, Brittany? I told you.
That's
Don't
why there's
point out.
editors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there's editors. Brittany, spoilers.
Where was the
I'm
editor?
the editor.
Oh, you're the editor?
Yeah.
I was going to say for books. I was like,
Oh,
where's
yeah.
the editor for this book?
The editor was sleeping and or they were really tired and they're like, oh,
Yes,
yeah.
fine. Stamped, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Which, you know what?
I
Might
do
have-
feel bad for editors. They probably have a lot to read.
Oh, yeah, I feel you. I mean, well, Disney, I can imagine Disney's
Walt
really tough
Disney's doing it himself.
from the grave. Well, he is frozen.
That explains why.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a
frozen.
brain dead person.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's awful. I
Yeah, that
shouldn't
is
have
pretty
said
awful.
that.
That is pretty awful. But you know what? Hey, you know what? The myth is true. Walt Disney is frozen.
Mhm.
And,
He
yeah,
also
he
doesn't like
controls...
Jews.
No. We're black people. So... Have you seen Song of the South? Have you seen that?
Song of the South?
You-
No.
Have you? Do you know what that is?
Not a clue what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I know Dumbo, the racist crows.
Song of the South is, you know the song Zippity Doo-Dah?
Yeah.
That's what that's from. It's a movie,
Oh,
and that's what
okay.
it's from. Yeah. Ooh, this is
Didn't
interesting.
they do blackface in that?
Kind of. It was the animated part. Tar Baby, it's called. Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not a, I mean, it's an interesting movie. Disney doesn't want to even acknowledge it.
Oh, is it in the vault, locked away forever?
I watched as a kid. I don't know if it was like on TV and somebody put it on a VHS tape. It was released on VHS, I'm pretty sure, because I
Yeah.
had it. Like somebody let me borrow it, so I didn't actually own it.
Mhm.
But like I was listening to the same girl who made the Twilight video, but Stephanie Meyer. She was saying they should just release it, acknowledge that it happened,
Yes.
and maybe put like interviews talking about why it was problematic and what they're doing to fix that. Because Splash Mountain is a ride at Disney World that is literally based off that movie.
Is it really?
And it's one of the most popular rides.
Well, I've never been to Disney,
I
so
know,
I wouldn't
yeah.
know.
It's a great ride too. That's the sad thing.
That's
That's a
the
really great
sad
ride.
thing.
Yeah.
just puppets with blackface on. Like,
I hopefully that's not in there,
God,
but I
can you
haven't rode it in
imagine?
a while. Yeah. I doubt they have that in
oh,
there.
yeah. I can imagine they cleaned that up.
Well,
pretty
you know,
quick.
Disney still had that in Pirates of the Caribbean.
The skull.
No, it was this girl, this woman with red hair, she I think was being sold into slavery, but you know, you can assume.
Prostitution. Yeah.
And they just got rid of that. I
Oh,
think in the
really?
last year, I believe, at Disneyland, they changed it so she's now a pirate and she has her own what's the word? Authority over herself, but you know.
Well, okay.
I know
That's
we've gone on a tangent. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yes, yes.
So.
For probably never.
Probably never on this podcast.
Yeah. Unless we go on a tangent again. But anyway. So, I think that's it for our intro. I don't know if I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Okay.
You hit it pretty well.
Yeah, so look for episodes. We're going to post them twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. This show will be available on our website, which is BaBatpodcast.com.
Boba tea.
Yeah, which we're drinking right now,
Yeah.
which we're going to try to drink. You really went for it.
I wanted the slurping noise. And it didn't
You got it. We talked about well, man. That was a good take. I really like that.
God.
See, look, and you're finished yours. Look at mine. Like, I'm not even, like, close to being finished.
Get that tapioca. Get those balls, Danielle.
This could be a while. Like, maybe next episode. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get that slurping on. So anyway, you can check out our website, bobatpodcast.com. Or you can check us out on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Oh,
Not
yeah.
all those?
Well, not yet, but we will be.
Okay.
Yeah. We should, if
I
you're
got
listening,
so excited.
if you're listening to this episode, we should be on those places. I mean, it might take a few days, but it should be up by that point. So, yeah, definitely go on your favorite podcast downloader. We'll be there.
We're also going to be on Instagram. We have a Gmail. We have a Twitter. Nothing's on it yet.
Yeah.
but
But that's okay.
yeah, it's getting there.
And we also have a Goodreads page that you can go on and join us in reading Lost in a Book and all the future books we plan to read. At the end of when we finish reading Lost in a Book, we're going to have a poll, and listeners can decide what we're going to read next, which I think is fair. So I'm excited
if we're
about
telling them how it's going to be, they should tell us what to read.
Exactly. So I love like the awkward pause, like exactly.
Yes.
Stare off wistfully in the distance. Like, we're so smart. All right. So with that, thanks for listening. And we'll talk to you all next episode. All right. Bye.
Bye.